Do you know you can become a masterful creator of your own life? Currently, if you don't feel like you're creating the life you desire, then there's some things you need to learn. For starters, why that is. The reason you don't have what you want in life is not entirely your fault. Everything has two sides of the same coin. For example, bad and good, right and wrong, hot and cold, survival and creation. This is what is called the law of polarity. It's one of the invisible laws of the universe. And I'm not going to go into great detail here about this specific law right now, but I will in a future podcast. I want to talk about the difference between living life being a survivor versus being a creator. And most importantly, how your mind influences all of that. The way we become survivors is mainly due to entering into the game of life without knowing the rules of the game. Your parents and the people who raised you did their best to discover whatever rules they discovered. So everything that is taught to you by your parents, teachers, and authority figures determines how you play. You ready for this? This is how human beings operate in the world. 95% of what you do is based on what you believe. I know this isn't anything groundbreaking, although I don't think people realize what this truly means. Nearly everything you do is based off of computer code. The computer code is written in language and it's stored in the subconscious mind. Your actions and behaviors are dictated by computer programs, all created from the past. We have thousands of them, and we aren't aware of how these beliefs dictate our lives, nor do we realize how much power they have over us. They actually determine everything about us. Where you end up in life is directly correlated to your belief systems. The people you end up hanging around with, your romantic relationships, your career, where you live, and of course, how you dress, the way you speak, and most of your choices are already determined for you based on the beliefs you created from the past. The reason you can't achieve your goals or get all that you want in life has nothing to do with how you were raised, what kind of education you got, or anything that has happened to you. Well, it does, but it doesn't have to forever. Just because you grew up poor doesn't mean you have to remain poor. Although if you don't learn why you do the things you do, then yes, you'll remain living the same patterns bestowed upon you. Everything you believe manifests itself into reality and is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you tell yourself you're not good at math, it doesn't matter if both your parents are bad at math or both your parents are great at math. If you have a belief stored in your subconscious mind that you're not good at mathematics, guess what? It becomes real. And no matter how hard you try to be good at math, you will not be. Although, if you can eliminate that limiting belief about yourself, then math can come easy to you. If you tell yourself you aren't good at talking to girls, this is what will likely happen. You'll go up to someone you find attractive, you'll start talking, and you'll either say the wrong things or you'll freeze up and prove the belief stored in your subconscious mind that you're not good at talking to girls. Not because it's true, only because you created a belief around it. If you eliminated that belief, then you would talk to girls just fine. Muhammad Ali had a belief that he was the greatest, and it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to show you that anything you believe will become real for you. If you believe people of color are disgusting, then you'll despise all the colored people that you cross your paths with you. And the reason why that example is so important is because a lot of our beliefs are passed down to us generationally. If you believe liberals are soft and weak, then you'll never support an idea by a liberal. If you think you're not worthy of love, then you'll sabotage every relationship you are in, wondering why you can't have love. It's simply because you have computer code embedded in your subconscious mind that prevents you from finding love. If you're not worthy of love, then how can you expect to find love? Or better yet, keep it. Now, there are two categories you can lump these beliefs into. You can either call them beliefs that empower you, or they're beliefs that limit you in some way. Obviously, empowering beliefs aren't getting in the way of you fulfilling your dreams. It's the limiting programs getting in the way. let's talk about how these limiting programs become developed. It takes two things to develop a limiting program. The first thing is pain, and the second thing is language. When I speak of pain, I'm not just talking about physical pain, I'm talking about emotional pain. For example, if you experience a moment of intense fear or sadness or embarrassment or whatever other negative emotion from an event in your life, this is the catalyst for creating a program that will likely run your life until you die, unless you discover it and do something about it. On top of that, a majority of your beliefs come before the age of 11, when you're a dumb kid. We can all agree kids are dumb, right? I'm kidding, but it's quite absurd if you really think about it. These childish programs show up for us when we're adults. And this is how it works. Here's a personal example. When I was in first grade, I was on stage with my entire class in the school gymnasium. It was Grandparents' Day, and the entire school was there, including parents and grandparents. We were singing Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast, and I loved to sing back then. I thought the chorus was next, and all of a sudden, I was the only one who could be heard singing at the top of his lungs, only to realize the song was over. People in my class and people in the audience started laughing. I was so embarrassed, and in my underdeveloped mind, thought it was a big deal. I thought I ruined the entire day for everyone. So this is what your subconscious mind does. It creates a program and it associates it with language. The language created in this instance was that it wasn't safe to speak in public. And now my subconscious mind will make sure the belief gets fulfilled. So in the future, every time I would speak in front of a group of people, my subconscious mind would fill me up with anxiety and discomfort. Now, the greater the emotion in these initial sensitizing events, the stronger the program. So this event for me was highly emotional. So moving forward, I would have high anxiety, preventing me from wanting to speak in front of people. You see, the subconscious mind can't interpret what happened to me when I was on stage in first grade. All it knows is that performing and speaking in front of people caused me great pain, and pain is a threat to survival. The subconscious mind must do everything in its power to protect from pain. The subconscious mind's job is to make sure we survive, to live another day, even against the danger of speaking in front of human beings in an audience. It's quite absurd if you really think about it. For 30 years after, when I was about 30 years old, and because of that event in first grade, I hated public speaking, and I avoided it like the plague, being forced in school to do it over and over again, which always led to more negative emotion, only reinforcing the program. I remember in my early 30s, I took some advice to face my fears. I said to myself, okay, I'll do that. I threw myself into the lion's den, and for me, that meant community theater. I acted and ended up performing in 24 shows in a span of a few years. Here's the interesting thing. Before the first show, I had an anxiety level of 10 out of 10. And after the 24th show, I had an anxiety level of 9.8 out of 10. What I discovered is that if I continue to face my fears, it would take only about 1,000 shows to get down to a 2 out of 10. No, thank you. It took everything inside of me just to get on stage. I would not want to do that 1,000 more times feeling that level of anxiety. Fast forward. When I ended up at the Hypnotherapy Academy, I ended up doing 2 hypnosis sessions, and my anxiety levels around public speaking dropped to a 2 out of 10. Talk about more efficient. If you only knew how easy it was to rewrite these programs that cause us so much frustration in our lives. It's so darn easy. Whoever came up with the whole face your fears idea discovered an outdated way to overcome them. But now we live in a world of instant gratification. Time to learn about the subconscious mind and how to tap into it. Don't punish yourself more than you have to. Are you starting to see how you operate very much like a robot with software embedded in your subconscious mind? This is what I mean by survival, because we end up having to deal with these limiting programs over and over again. If you work at a job you don't like, the only reason you're there is because you have limiting programs and beliefs stopping you from doing something you enjoy and getting paid what you think you deserve. Beliefs stop you from having all you want. And if you only knew how easy it was to reverse these beliefs, it's so easy. I have a request to make of you. Stop surviving life and switch over to being a creator. All you have to do is find enough limiting programs and reverse them. Once you reverse them, your actions and behaviors now become consistent with the empowering beliefs. Imagine thinking you're not good at math your entire life, and then all of a sudden you switch that belief and became good at math. Or imagine speaking in public and enjoying it. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, it sure would be. I'm going to go even further because I really want you all to get this. If you ever heard the saying that your thoughts create your reality, that's true. This falls into the universal law called the law of attraction, and I will have a podcast about this as well in the future. Do you know how many thoughts you have a day? 50 to 80,000. That's wild if you think about it. Now, what most people don't know is that a majority of these thoughts are recycled from the past, about 92% of them. I'm going to go even a step further. Your thoughts are completely in alignment with your beliefs. Your beliefs actually create your thoughts. For example, if you develop a belief you weren't good enough, you could have thoughts throughout the day that you weren't doing things right, or say some artistic thing like writing or painting looks like crap to you because of a belief you created as a child. It's another absurdity of being a human being. Approximately 5 to 10% of your thoughts are new, that you create on the fly. The rest come from the past, and you could still have thoughts stemming from a painful event from when you were 4 years old, or even sooner. Here's some advice for you. Start paying attention to 2 things. First, start paying attention to why you do the things you do. I'm talking about your patterns. Like, ask yourself, why do I have the job I have? Why did I choose this person to be in a relationship with? Why do I always eat food at midnight? Or whatever else comes up for you. The second thing I want you to do is start paying attention to your thoughts. Become an observer instead of engaging in them. You will start to see the negative conversations playing in your head, and you can find the limiting beliefs associated with those thoughts. Awareness is such a powerful resource. It will take time, but just like riding a bike, you'll become proficient at it. Your access to becoming powerful and the master of your own life is to work on the mind. Thanks for being with me once again. Take care.